What's up people, hope you're having an awesome day wherever and whenever you're watching this. I'm your host Eamon Hassan and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. So based on part 1 of this video, we all seem to really want to believe in alternate realities existing, or at least enjoy learning about the possibility. Honestly, I wonder what the other versions of me and other realities are doing right now. Are they hosting the alternate version of Top 10? Are they doing a better job than me? I'll probably never know, and thankfully neither will you guys. But anyway, this is the top 10 scary pieces of evidence that alternate realities exist, part 2. And damn, we really have to make these titles shorter. Starting us off with number 10 are dreams. I'm pretty sure everyone in life has wondered what their dreams meant. Anytime I dream of anything traumatic, I always Google it and I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to start a new chapter of my life, or one's about to end, what do I do? Either way, dream travel is a theory that our dreams show glimpses of alternate universes or realities that are beyond ours. In a multiverse where there are endless versions of you and your life, and they've all branched off and have lived different lives, if you're having a really vivid dream to the point it's so lifelike you feel like you're really there, it's possible we're tapping into the experiences and memories of an alternate us. Say if you keep dreaming about living in a different country, or having a different job, or eating something so detailed you can smell it and taste it, it's been theorized it's because you've probably already experienced those things in another timeline and our sleeping mind somehow lets us access it. Physicists have theorized since our conscious minds' barriers are down during sleep, it allows our subconscious mind to go into the windows between realities and contact the consciousness of our other selves. This suggests that maybe our subconscious mind operates in our own reality and the others all at the same time. Another theory is that despite only seeing one course of events for each action or decision we make, we still imagine what would have happened if we did or chose differently. So based on that, our dreams could be showing us how all those other decisions would have played out if our other selves made them. That was a lot to digest, I know, and there's a lot more to come. Coming in at number 9 is missing time. So I feel like a lot of people will be able to identify with this feeling or experience and yet not know it could very well be evidence of an alternate reality. So this is a story of John Carlson. In the late 70s, John was in high school and his house was about a 1.5-mile walk from his school. He walked there and back every day, and it was a pretty straightforward route that he knew very well. One day he was walking home and he saw a bunch of guys that usually bullied him, and he took a different route. Again, even this other route he knew very well. He'd also taken it before, so it wasn't anything new. But on the walk, things just seemed off. Despite school just ending, it was eerily quiet and he felt like things just weren't real. As he was approaching an intersection, he saw the stores he usually saw there, but the silence persisted. He realized that even though he was walking towards the intersection, the stores and landmarks kept getting further and further away from him. Like a mirage, he didn't understand and started feeling anxious and disoriented, and then blank. A complete loss of memory, and when he awakened he was on a different street in a different part of town, quite a while away from the intersection he was at before. And he had no idea how he got there, but within a few minutes his mum pulled up and asked him if he was alright. Normally his parents never looked for him as long as he came home before dinner, but his mum somehow just knew exactly where he was. When he asked her why she went to look for him, she said she was just doing chores at home when a voice in her head said, "Get John, he needs you." And a lot of people have had the same missing piece of time experience, so they've theorized that perhaps these blips are us crossing into another universe and taking your alternate selves' place and vice versa, so when you swap back you end up somewhere else and not knowing how you got there. At number 8 we have the Large Hadron Collider, LHC for short. CERN, which is the European Organization for Nuclear Research, restarted their newly upgraded LHC in order to find out more about dark matter and look for tiny black holes that could be gateways to alternate universes. This LHC is the world's most powerful particle accelerator, and the point of it is to try and recreate the conditions present during the Big Bang to see what kind of matter was produced. Its other project is finding those tiny black holes. A paper published by scientists at the University of Waterloo proposed a way to prove black holes connect our universe with other universes, so CERN intends on testing and proving their hypothesis. If they do, and it's likely that they do, it'll be the first experiment that proves the existence of alternate realities ever. Hopefully they also find out how to transition from this reality to that one. Thanks. Filling our number 7 slot is the Bermuda Triangle. I've been interested in the Bermuda Triangle ever since I found out people and airplanes and ships go missing in the area. There's just too much intrigue to not be interested. It's mysterious, things disappear, time and space becomes distorted. It's like a world of its own. The first article ever written about the place dubbed it the Sea of the Devil, which is just not the way you want to debut into the world of print. It's really not. Over the past century, there have been hundreds and hundreds of large air and sea vessels that have just disappeared. Other cases involve perfectly intact and working sea craft completely abandoned by their crew and the crew never being found. Eyewitnesses who have been and survived recall compasses going crazy when they entered the area, unusual clouds, and entering a rotating substance and exiting through a luminescent curtain of some kind. I don't know. Scientists like Einstein and Michio Kaku came up with theories about the refraction of time. Kaku had a theory about the river of time, saying it can lead to the formation of whirlpools of time in which it's possible to enter into different time spaces and that the river can fork into many directions. And obviously those different time spaces have alternate realities. The founder of the spiritual practice Falun Dafa said the triangle is definitely a gateway to another reality, but it's just very unpredictable. If the door happens to be open, then a ship could slip in for a moment and come back out by accident, but that second could be decades in our world because time is different in every dimension. What do you guys think? Now at number 6 is the Desert Blip. Back in 1972, 4 girls were coming back from a Utah rodeo and they took the Utah Highway 56. Since their landlady had a really strict 12 AM curfew and it was already 10:30, the girls decided to take a shortcut off the highway which went towards Gadianton Canyon. They were driving on black asphalt for a while, but somewhere along the way it transformed into cracked concrete. The girls encountered a dead end and went back the way they came, but it took them a few minutes to realize their surroundings had completely changed. They went from driving in the desert to driving by lush fields of wheat near a large lake. At this point, the girls had no idea where they were, and in the distance they saw light coming from a building. So they went towards it, and when they got closer they saw the neon sign spell out a message which they couldn't read. The letters or symbols were twisted lines and curves, a language none of the girls had ever seen before. Then all of a sudden, extremely tall men started pouring out of the building and started waving their arms and pointing at the girls and then coming towards them. They looked human, but they weren't, and the girls took off screaming and crying. 30 seconds later, they realized the people were following them in egg-shaped vehicles that had 1 headlight, 2 front wheels, and 1 rear. They drove back into the canyon and soon lost the eggs, but wow, I really wonder where the hell they ended up. I'm convinced it was another universe. The sign, I can just imagine the sign being one of those fonts on Word that you have no idea what it's saying. It's probably one of those. Coming in at number 5 are Psychopaths. Juicy, I know. So way back during the eugenics movement, scientists believed mankind could be improved by breeding out the evil and bad ones amongst us. It led to sterilizing prisoners and mental patients by the early 20th century. But Linda Campbell puts forth a theory that psychopaths are spiritually dead, demonized human predators that disguise the fact their mind is demonically filled. Their lack of empathy allows them to ignore reality and impose false realities on others made up of lies. The lack of empathy makes them blind to humanity, and so humans to them can be easily sacrificed, abused, tormented, you name it. It can happen to them. They possess an unlimited amount of demonic energy and get a thrill out of things we would categorize as screwed up. So Linda theorized these people actually exist in a demonically twisted upside down reality where everything they're doing and feeling makes complete sense to them in their reality. Our reality and theirs overlap, and their reality is a devilish anti-world within ours. And how this overlap happened, I have no idea. But it's not the first time blips or overlaps have popped up within this topic. So, at number 4 is the cabin. It was so hard finding links about this story, it's like the universe just didn't want me to share it and know more, but I will. But anyway, many years ago, a woman and her friends went camping near a forest. They were having a good time, toasting marshmallows, the whole shebang, when they heard some music come from a stone cabin. First of all, I don't know why they weren't suspicious of a random stone cabin in the forest to begin with, but sure. Moving on, when they went to the cabin, they apparently saw a bunch of people wearing 17th century clothing just dancing missing inside. The woman was almost drawn to it and she tried to enter it, but before she entered all the way, her friend pulled her away and half her body immediately became paralyzed. Yes, the half that entered the cabin. Like out of nowhere, nothing happened, she just became paralyzed. Many believe the woman actually stepped into a dimensional gateway to an alternate reality, but when she was pulled away, she felt a shift that completely threw off her nervous system. I mean, obviously, since our systems don't experience alternate realities frequently, and thus she became paralyzed. Filling a number 3 slot are doppelgangers. It's a tricky subject. How is it possible for someone unrelated to us at all to look exactly like us? Looks are genetic, we look the way we do because of our ancestors, I don't need to explain that, so how can anyone else look exactly like us? From a scientific and biological standpoint, it just doesn't make sense. They're meant to be us in an alternate reality living their lives, but somehow in the configuration of endless possibilities of realities and universes, a glitch occurred and 2 of the same person ended up in the same reality when technically they shouldn't have been. They're not our clones, they still carry out their own lives like they would have in the alternate reality, except they're here and they look exactly like us. And now at number 2 is Saria. Back in 1851, a man called Jofar Voren was found in a German village speaking a bit of broken, weird German. When locals in the area found him, he said he spoke the languages Ibramian and Laxarian, and that he was from Laxaria, from an area called Saria, which was separated from Europe by an ocean. He said his world had 5 great compartments, aka continents, called Saria, Asta, Afla, Upla, and Osla, which obviously stunned everyone because none of those things exist. He went on to say he was Christian, but that it was also called Aspasian in Laxaria. You may be wondering why he was in Germany to begin with. He could have just easily stayed in Laxaria. He was trying to find his long lost brother, but then suffered a shipwreck on his way and wound up in Germany. Despite looking at many maps, he couldn't trace his route from any shore or find his way back. People believe he's from an alternate universe and somehow ended up in ours. Who knows, maybe he went through his world's version of the Bermuda Triangle, and that's how he got here. And finally, at number 1 are the Green Children of Woolpit. Now in the 12th century, a brother and sister were found near a wolf pit in the village of Woolpit, Suffolk. Yes, they got the name of the village from the wolf pits in the village. Now they looked like normal human kids, except for the fact that their skin was heavily tinged with green. They spoke an unknown language that none of the locals had heard of, would only eat raw beans, and their clothing was just very bizarre. After a while, they learned how to eat normal food and lost their green hue, but the boy soon died. The girl, however, learned how to speak English, and she explained how her brother and her had come from a place called St. Martin's Land, which was a subterranean world that only housed green people. She said the sun never shone there and it was twilight all the time. When asked how they got to Woolpit, she said she had no idea. She recalled herding her dad's cattle with her brother and then hearing a loud noise, and then they suddenly just end up near the wolf pit. The girl grew up and got married and led her life, but many people theorize the kids came from an alternate reality but just adapted to ours. For me personally, since it was the 12th century and travel was hard for locals of small villages, maybe the kids were from the Middle East or Asia, which could explain why the locals didn't recognize their language or clothing, but that still doesn't explain how they got there or the greenness of their skin, so maybe I should just stop talking. And that's it for today's video, guys. Rarely do I ever like part 2 of a series more than part 1, but I think with this one I definitely did. If you weren't convinced of alternate realities after the first video, let me know if you are after this one. As always, I'm Eamon Hassan and I'll see you later. Bye!